You ever think about how one completely random moment can change your entire life? Well, welcome to today's Explainer, where we are diving straight into the last seat on the bus. It's this incredible story that perfectly captures the quiet magic of everyday serendipity. We're going to follow two deeply relatable characters, Arjun and Maya, from a totally chance encounter on a miserable rainy commute, all the way through a heartbreaking disappearance to a reunion you literally could not see coming. So let's grab a seat and jump right in. It literally all started with 7 simple words. "Excuse me, is this seat free?" Picture this. It's a rainy, gloomy morning commute. Arjun has his earphones completely jammed in, totally zoned out from the world around him. But then, this girl holding a bright yellow umbrella steps onto the crowded bus. She spots the absolute only empty seat, which happens to be right next to him, and asks that question. It is such a wonderfully mundane, everyday moment, right? But it sparks a connection that changes everything. Now, to really get why this works, we gotta look at who we're dealing with here. The dynamic between our two leads is just classic. On the left side, we've got Arjun. He's a 25-year-old software engineer. Calm, a bit shy, super driven. And then on the right, there's Maya. She's 24, a photographer, impossibly cheerful, and honestly, she stands out in any crowd with that signature yellow umbrella. We essentially have the quiet tech guy colliding with the vibrant optimist. It's the absolute perfect foundation for a rom-com because personalities this different are basically guaranteed to either completely crash and burn or perfectly complement each other. And it really doesn't take long for those opposite personalities to collide. Now, the inciting incident here isn't dropping a stack of papers or spilling coffee. No, it's a massive pothole. Just minutes into sharing this seat, the bus hits a bump so incredibly hard that Maya almost drops her phone. But instead of getting mad, she expertly breaks the ice, joking, "That pothole nearly sent me into another dimension." It's just a brilliantly witty response to a frustrating situation. And you know what? It works. It actually pulls a rare, genuine morning smile out of the usually stoic Arjun. Which immediately brings us to their first real exchange. And man, the snappy banter here is just top tier. Maya catches him smiling and points out, most people look angry during morning commutes. Arjun doesn't even miss a beat. He fires right back with, "That's because we're going to work." I love this because it's so grounded. They aren't talking about fate or destiny or the cosmos. They are literally just connecting over the shared, kind of miserable reality of going to work on a rainy Tuesday. It's instant, it's relatable, and it completely paves the way for what happens next.
Okay, but this progression doesn't just happen overnight. It's a slow burn. It starts on day 1 with the whole pothole incident. By day 3, Maya is actually making a point to get on the exact same bus. She spots Arjun and jokes that sitting with him saves her from making awkward small talk with some random stranger. Fast forward a few weeks and they are way past small talk. They're actually sharing their biggest life dreams on that very same commute, which eventually leads to Arjun, with a massive, heavy push from his best friend Rahul, finally inviting Maya to a weekend festival. We're watching them smoothly transition from just awkward acquaintances to genuine confidants.
But how do they actually bond during those weeks? This is crucial. Maya confesses her absolute biggest dream, to travel the world with a camera. But she's vulnerable about it. She admits, most people say it's unrealistic. And Arjun's response? It's incredibly powerful. He just looks at her and says, "Most people quit too early." He doesn't dismiss her. He doesn't give her a reality check. He completely validates her ambition. Maya even tells him that it's the nicest thing anyone has said to her all week. Arjun's genuine support for her dream is really what cements their emotional bond. Now, no great story works without an amazing supporting cast. Enter Rahul. He's Arjun's loyal, hilarious best friend. At that weekend festival, Rahul finally meets Maya, and honestly, he immediately gets why Arjun is so hooked. In fact, Rahul actually develops a tiny crush on her himself. But later, sitting alone on his balcony looking at a photo of Arjun and Maya smiling together, Rahul makes a tough choice. He says to himself, "Too late, my friend. You got there first. And honestly, I've never seen you happier." It's such a brilliant character moment. He dissects his own feelings, realizes his best friend has found something real, and just loyally, quietly steps out of the way. So, with Rahul graciously stepping back, the path is clear. And that brings us to a massive turning point. Just a few days after the festival, Maya asks Arjun how he manages to always be so calm. Arjun laughs and admits he isn't calm at all. Inside his brain is basically pure chaos. And then Maya drops his incredibly vulnerable confession. She says, "Because whenever I'm around you, everything feels easier." Boom! That is the peak of our rising action right there. She is straight up telling him that his presence is her safe haven. Arjun says he's glad she said it, and suddenly, the connection between them is totally undeniable. And then we hit this, the number 6. I actually want to slow down here for a second because this is where the narrative takes a really devastating turn. 6 agonizing months. That is exactly how much time passes after Maya makes that beautiful confession before she suddenly, inexplicably vanishes. The heartbreak sets in so simply. The very next Monday, Maya just doesn't get on the bus. By the end of week 1, her phone goes straight to voicemail. It's completely disconnected. Rahul tries to be logical, suggesting maybe something came up, but Arjun knows her. She absolutely would have told him. And as the months drag on, the pain really settles in deep. Even half a year later, Arjun steadfastly refuses to stop looking for her at her usual bus stop. It's a habit he literally cannot break. Rahul keeps telling him he needs to move on, but Arjun just says he tried and he couldn't. His dedication to her is absolute. Which brings us to the climax of our whole story, the photography exhibition. Rahul, stepping up to play the ultimate best friend once again, practically drags a very reluctant, very heartbroken Arjun out of his slump to go to an art gallery. Arjun shoots the idea down repeatedly, but Rahul completely forces the issue. And the setting here, it's no accident. Remember Maya's dream? Yeah, to be a photographer. Let's actually walk step by step through exactly what happens inside that gallery, because the suspense they build here is incredible. Step 1. Arjun is wandering around, kind of bored, when he suddenly freezes. He spots a photo hanging on the wall. It's a picture of a rainy city bus, the exact same bus. Step 2. He leans in, looks closer, and reads the artist's name on the placard, Maya Sharma. He calls out for Rahul in total disbelief. And then, step 3. The ultimate cinematic moment. A voice speaks from right behind him, saying his name. He turns around, and it's her. It's actually her. This serendipitous reunion is the massive emotional payoff we've all been waiting for. But of course, we have to address the elephant in the room, right? Where on earth did she go, and why didn't she call? Well, the truth is actually deeply human and completely understandable. Maya explains that her dad received this sudden, entirely unexpected job transfer, and during the total chaos of packing up and abruptly moving, she lost her phone. So no, it wasn't ghosting, it wasn't a sudden change of heart, it was just life happening fast and hard. She's standing there with tears in her eyes, telling him how much she missed him, proving that those 6 months apart were just as agonizing for her as they were for him. And right in the middle of this incredibly intense emotional reunion, we get one last crucial moment from Rahul. Seeing that these two desperately need to talk alone, Rahul politely excuses himself. Maya stops to thank him for bringing Arjun, but before Rahul walks away, he leaves her with one simple request: make him happy. We really got to take a second to appreciate Rahul here. He absolutely confirms his status as the MVP, the ultimate supportive best friend in this entire narrative. He bows out with such incredible grace, making sure his best friend's happiness is the top priority. So once Rahul leaves, Arjun and Maya step outside the exhibition. The sun is setting, because of course it is. It's the perfect, classic backdrop for our emotional climax. And right here, Arjun finally lays all his cards on the table. He tells Maya that he didn't just wait for the bus every morning, he waited for her. He confesses that her suddenly disappearing made him realize the absolute truth. He is completely in love with her. It turns into this beautiful, mutual confession where all the chaos and heartbreak of the last 6 months is finally just put to rest. But listen, Maya is still the witty, cheerful person we met on that rainy bus. She doesn't just stand there and cry. Her response to this massive, grand confession of true love, it's absolutely perfect. She just smiles and says, "Took you long enough?" I love this line so much. It instantly brings back that lighthearted, snappy banter that made us fall in love with them in the first place. She tells him she loves him too, obviously, but absolutely not without getting a good, playful jab in there first. So, 1 year later, our entire core cast, Arjun, Maya, Rahul, and Maya's best friend Priya, are all hanging out together at sunset. And the group dynamic is fantastic. Priya and Rahul have teamed up and are just relentlessly roasting Arjun about how painfully slow he was in actually making a move. But as the laughter sort of settles down, Maya and Arjun take a moment to look back. They reflect on how this entire incredible journey, this deep connection they built, all started simply because of one empty seat on a damp, miserable morning commute. It really is the perfect happily ever after, showing the whole friend group united and celebrating how far they've come. You know, sometimes love doesn't begin with grand cinematic gestures or someone holding a boombox outside your window. Sometimes it begins with a simple question on a random rainy Tuesday. Excuse me, is this seat free? So I want to leave you with this one thought to chew on. Who will you share your seat with next? The magic of chance encounters is literally happening all around us, every single day. Keep your eyes open, maybe pull out your earphones and say hello to a stranger, and embrace the serendipity of your own everyday commute. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.